Hello, Steve Anderson here with Workamper News, and I'm glad you're joining us for this presentation. This is on the 3 levels to work camping freedom. And my goal during this time with you today is to help you understand that you can determine how much freedom you have to travel where you want, when you want, and stay as long as you want. Well, I'm the president, co-owner of Workamper News, have been now for a number of years. If you're not familiar with us, we have been in business for 33 years. We publish a bi-monthly magazine. This is our current 200th issue that just came out, and we were really excited about it. It's a beautiful issue. We publish a bi-monthly magazine, and we have a very active online community. We put out a daily hotline. Our mission at Workamper News is very simple. We desire to connect the employer and the work camper and bring them together to connect them to have a positive outcome in a work camping and employee experience. And we also have a greater mission, and this is my personal mission. Over the years of working with work campers now, which is truly stretched into decades, I have seen if you will learn how to develop a small business that you can run from that RV, you can then expand your possibilities to the levels of freedom like you can't imagine. So during this presentation, what I want to do is walk you through these 3 levels. I'm going to be very open with you. I'm going to introduce you to a program that we just have launched over the past month to help you take those steps to move to that maximum level of freedom. This isn't really going to be a Q&A session. I'm going to do a presentation. We're going to encourage you then to check out the materials after we finish, and hopefully you'll get involved with us as we move forward. Okay? All right, 3 steps that we're going to take. And I've got kind of a fun little presentation here that I want to share with you in the process of introducing these concepts to you, okay? First of all, I need to give you a definition of work camping. Some of you on board are brand new to us. Maybe you have never ever even at any time looked at what the concept of work camping translates to. Work camping, the term work camper, actually, we trademarked that term back in 1987. And in 1987, when Workamper News started, it became our trademark. And it has a very simple definition. Please don't make it tough. You're a work camper if you work and you live and travel in an RV. It's that simple. You can do all different types of work, and if you live and travel in that RV, folks, you're a work camper. It doesn't mean you're doing a specific type of job, etc. It just means it's a lifestyle that you've adopted and that you are living and you're experiencing, okay? All right, so one of the very first things that we encourage work campers to do when you're brand new, just getting into this, is to dip your toe in the water and literally get involved in a work camping experience. And this is where Workamper News comes in. We connect you literally with hundreds and thousands of employers out there that hire folks that desire to travel in their RV, go to a specific region, location, spend some time there, get to know, the environment, get to know the society in that area, etc., and spend some time there actually working for that employer. Okay, so this is step 1. This gets you on the road, out the door, etc., moving forward into the lifestyle. And there's a couple of different ways that you can work camp to get started. You might work camp with an employer for site only. And what this means for those of you that are brand new to this whole concept, you have an RV, and when you have an RV, you're going to travel to a location. The best thing to be able to do so that you're not what's classified as boondocking, and that's another whole story, is to be in a facility where they have a campsite that you place your RV on, and you're able to connect it to power and the appropriate power that you need for your RV, and water, and have the ability for your sewage system to be able to be dumped right there at your location into the sewer system of that facility. Okay, that's classified as an FHU or full hookup type unit. Now, some facilities may have other amenities. You might have Wi-Fi, you might have cable television, those types of things, but the 3 keys are the power, the water, and the sewage. All right, okay, so we got that down. So you go to work and accept a position work camping with an employer, and they say, we're going to provide you a site in trade. So they're going to provide you a site for so many hours. That's what we classify as a site-only work camping gig. All right. Then there's other situations where they may provide you the site for so many hours that you work, and then any hours above that you work above the requirement for the trade out for the site, they're going to pay you a designated wage. So now you not only have the site, but you're also are earning income, okay? You have a paycheck. Now, moving forward into the level of freedom as far as work camping, the next one, we're work camping and we're building or starting a small business that we're actually going to run right from our campsite. So now you're having the best of both worlds. You have site, you have maybe even some wages from the employer, and you are starting or building and growing that small business that eventually is going to create income for you. The third level of freedom we're going to get into today is where you truly become a small business entrepreneur and you are not dependent on any employer, and you have the freedom to travel where you want, when you want, and stay as long as you want. All right? So that's what we're going to jump into here today. And what I want to do is just kind of take each one a little step by step, build on the process, help you understand what happens as you move into the different levels, and then share with you a little bit more about the Small Business RVer Kickstarter Bootcamp as we get towards the tail end of our presentation. I thank you for being with us today. I'm excited to present this to you. I'm excited to be in the studio today presenting this for you. So thank you very much for being with us. I appreciate that. What you see on the screen right here is a motorhome down in the corner. That is Miss Ellie. Miss Ellie was our diesel pusher that Kathy Jo, my bride now of 38 years, that we traveled in and traveled America in from about 2013 through, and just this past September, we sold her September 1st of this year. And Miss Ellie is what's classified as a diesel pusher. That means she has a diesel engine in the back, and when you sit up front, you have the quietness because you don't have all the engine noise and so on, but you're also riding on airbag cushions and all the great things. So it's a type of RV. So as I talk about a diesel pusher, that's what I'm talking about. And we're not going to get into talking about all the different types of RVs today. I just wanted to have Miss Ellie on here to help you understand some of the flow of what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the Miss Ellie story here in just a few minutes. All right, so level one, you're work camping for campsite. This means the campsite's provided to you by the employer in a barter type situation. And yes, this is still legal in America. It's still covered under the IRS codes. And as long as the employer is meeting the guidelines of the IRS, they are legally able to provide you a campsite in a barter type of experience. Now, all that simply means is you are trading work hours for campsite, okay? That's all we're talking about here. Please don't make it more difficult than it is, because it's not really that difficult. What's cool about this is your travel budget is starting to be improved now because you don't have that nightly cost of paying for a campsite. If you're just going to get out there and travel America in your RV, you've got to have the bankroll in order to cover all of those costs to be able to pay those nightly fees that you encounter. And those fees are going to range between 25 to 65 bucks a night. It just depends. And some of them even more expensive, but commonly between 25 and 65. And those are dollars that are coming out of your pocketbook for every single night. The beauty of work camping is you have that benefit of having that campsite. So you've just helped your budget because you're not having to pay those nightly camping fees. Now, another thing about this is you're not going to be receiving a paycheck if you're doing a barter situation. They're providing the campsite for X number of hours that you're going to be working, and it's not classified as pay, but you're receiving economic value. You with me? You're receiving the value of that campsite. That campsite, if you were to sit on that campsite for 30 days, you would have to pay for that campsite, and it's going to cost you X number of dollars of post-tax dollars, all right, that you're going to have to pay for out of your pocket. Well, what's beautiful about this, and I want to show you, have some fun slides here I just wanted to share with you. I got a little carried away maybe with my slides, but it's kind of fun and provides us some enjoyment. The value of the trade for a campsite needs to be looked at like this. As I mentioned already, most campgrounds charge between 25 and 65 bucks a night. and that's for a full hookup campsite. Now you are knowledgeable now, you know what that is, right? Okay, so if they're getting $30 a night, for instance, and 30 nights, that equates to a $900 value. So if they are doing a trade for you, with you in a barter experience as a work camper, they're providing you a $900 value. That's why when people tell me, well, all I'm getting is the campsite, is, whoa, hold the phone. You're not looking at this. Time out. You really need to look at this more closely and understand that that is a $900 value that you didn't have to pay for with post-tax dollars. And if you don't understand what I mean by that, folks, that's money that you earn, you pay taxes on, and then that's what your net is that you're utilizing to go out there and RV with. So those post-tax dollars, depending on your tax level, can be equates to maybe $1.25 for every buck, okay? So there's great value in this barter concept, and that's what I'm trying to get across to you. And it is a big element in taking you down that path of freedom that we are so passionate about helping you understand. Now, a further reduction in your flexibility, though, is going to start taking place. You know, if you're just out there traveling America, paying your own way, etc., then you've got the flexibility to go where you want, when you want, stay as long as you want, as long as you can afford to do it. When you start taking on a work camper gig, this first level of freedom we're talking about, when you add that value of campsite, expectations are placed upon you, and they're being placed upon you by the provider. In this case, it's the employer in most cases. So what's happening is your level of flexibility, your level of freedom is changing some. Okay, it's not bad or good, it's just, it is what it is. So please understand that. But I need you to understand the reality of what this means. So level one, and I used 1/2, is work camping. Oh, something's going on with my computer here. Let's see what's going on here, if I can get it to come back here. Okay, level 1 and 1/2, work camping for a campsite and a wage. I wanted to expand that just a little bit more. So, all right, we've got a trade, so we have campsite, and then some employers are going to provide you the opportunity to earn a wage. So, for instance, I currently own a campground operation down in Texas with my business partners in Athens, Texas. We hire work campers, and they will work 16 hours a week for the campsite. Okay, any hours that they work above that, we may contract with them as a work camper to be paid a designated hourly wage for the hours above that. Many employers do just that. And some employers will just trade with you for the campsite, so they're only going to expect you to work X number of hours, or they may ask you to say, all right, work for the campsite this many hours, but then I need you an additional 10 hours per week, or whatever the case might be. And for those, you will earn additional income dollars. Now that means you're getting a paycheck for those dollars, all right? And you will be getting a W-2. You're going to be getting a W-2 at the end of the year, and many employers now, their accountants are having them actually send you a W-2 with the value of the campsite listed on it. And you say, well, but you said it's a barter. I did. Under IRS code, and this is just all part of the mechanics of that the IRS is having employers do now, they need to report the value of that. But under IRS code, right on the bottom of your 1040, there's a section where you list that value of that campsite, and it literally becomes a wash. Now the key is, you need to understand, if you're doing your own taxes, you need to realize that's there. If you have a individual that's doing your taxes for you, they need to have the knowledge to understand that that barter situation took place and that it's a wash and you're not paying taxes for the value of that campsite. So you're going to be receiving pay for the hours that you worked. That, yes, will be taxable dollars that you'll have to pay income taxes on. And you're also going to be receiving the value of that campsite on that W-2, okay? All right, so now you're stepping up your game a little bit here. You've got your campsite, you're earning some bucks that's helping you pay for those expenses, because you still got the expenses of, you know, maybe you bought the rig and you've You've got the payment on the rig. Maybe you're carrying a note on the rig. You've got the expense of insurances. You've got the expense of health insurance. You've got the expense of food, the daily things to stay, and stay alive and keep us moving forward. So you've got all of those things. And if you're not gaining a lot of funds from previous accounts, retirement programs, whatever the case might be, then these additional dollars, they help. They truly, truly do. They truly, truly do. So I want you to understand this relationship, because this is very important and why I'm so passionate about small business and why I'm so passionate about you as a work camper to gain the maximum freedom possible. It's something you need to be looking at. That's not going to be for everybody, I know that. But I want to share with you with this little illustration here that as increased value from an employer goes up, this means their expectations is going up as far as when you're going to be there, how long you're going to be there, the hours that you'll be working, what you're providing them as value in trade, whether it's for barter and wages, whatever the case might be. So please understand that as income goes up, what happens is when you're in a employee-employer situation, this increased value causes the expectations to go up and the flexibility goes down. All right, so yes, you're developing the freedom to get out there and work camp and travel, but you're putting some limiters on you because of what that relationship with the employer is going to create. And again, I'm not saying this is bad or good. It just is what it is. This might be the maximum amount of freedom that you want to have, and if it is, I applaud you. Awesome, that's fine. But what I'm doing in this presentation is to help you understand the levels of freedom that you can attain as a work camper, to be able to go where you want, travel when you want, and stay as long as you want. That's what I'm after in this presentation today to get across to you. All right, so let's take that next step to level 2. Now you're work camping. You're maybe doing a barter for a campsite. You might be doing a barter for a campsite in wages, and you've started a small business that you're going to run from your RV. Now, you might have all those elements that we just talked about, and then you're going to have the ability to increase your income. You're going to have the ability to hopefully start earning income from whatever that small business is. And folks, I'm not directing you to any particular type of business. Yeah, there's programs that we have that we train people for at our academy down in Texas, and I'll say a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But the bottom line is you can run so many different types of businesses from an RV anymore, especially with a cell phone and internet connection. Oh, the world is your oyster. It truly, truly can be. So you can increase your income when you start that business, but there's something I want to caution you about right out of the get-go, because I've heard of this happening too many times. Please confirm with that employer that they're going to be okay with you running the type of business that you are running from your RV in their campground. And you say, well, why is it any of their business? Well, first of all, it's their property. Secondly, the type of business that you have, if it's disruptive or in competition in any way with something that they're already doing, etc., then they're not going to be most likely open to having you come into their operation. So be open, be truthful, be forthright, be upfront, all those wonderful terms. Just make sure you have that communication and that conversation with that future employer when you're going through the interview process. That's all I ask, okay? And you know what? The majority of the times it's not a problem. It truly, truly isn't. Once in a great while it might be, but honesty is the best issue. And please, this is not one of those things where you ask for forgiveness after you've got there and say, oh, by the way, I run this type of business and I'll be doing this on my off time. Please don't do that to your employer. I've had people do that to us at our operation, and it's just not a good thing. Okay? All right. Now, guys, this is where I get pumped. I'm sorry. I mean, sometimes I get a little nutso when it comes to this small business stuff, but guys, you just don't understand what this can do for you if you don't know what you don't know yet. All right. Additional income generation. Let me grab a drink real quick here. You know, Over the past couple of years, I've gotten involved with the Zig Ziglar Corporation out of Dallas, and I became a legacy certified instructor. I can teach the Ziglar Corporation programs that Zig Ziglar put together. If you've not heard of Zig Ziglar, I'm going to encourage you to Google him. You're going to find out so much information about him. He's passed on, he's no longer with us, but I was introduced to him back as a grad student at Drake University years ago when I was a high school teacher. I was working on a graduate program. And one of the things that Zig taught me was that we do not love money. We should not love money. And that's what the Bible tells us about the love of money should not be something that we should be seeking. But money is important. And Zig used to say, it rates right up there with oxygen. We gotta have it. We need it in order to live life and experience, in our case, to have the freedom to travel where we want, when we want, and stay as long as we want. It's necessary. So additional income, if you can create it, and as I said here on the slide, what if you earned enough with your small business to cover your expenses other than your campsite that's being provided by your work camping gig? Think about that. Now, if you have other resources that you've saved up, you don't even need to be tapping those. Or you can start to live life to a higher level than you ever imagined. You can start to maybe even give back. You can start to be more philanthropic and starting to help organizations because you've got the cash flow, you have the means and the ability to do that. Guys, that's when it really gets exciting. Okay, but here's the other thing that you haven't thought about yet. Because if you have not been a small business individual, if you've not been a work camperpreneur, there's lots of different terms I could throw at you and be crazy about it. The tax benefits of operating a small business. This not only allows you the ability to earn income, but allows you to deduct expenses you can't normally deduct if you don't have a small business. All right, so we're talking about being a work camper. As a work camper, you've got a RV, you've got a piece of equipment. You say, no, it's my home. If you are a small business person, you get a little bit different look, or you take a little bit different look at it. Yes, you're traveling and living in it, but depending on how you structure your business, and that's another whole kettle of fish, and that's kind of some of the stuff, a lot of the stuff that we get into in the training course, you can deduct the expenses of that RV. You may even be able to depreciate that RV. It is a piece of business equipment if you structure things correctly. At the very least, you're writing off travel expenses of fuel, etc., that you are taking mileage, etc., as you're using that RV. This is where the tax benefits become very important. Truly do. This is the time of year, in fact, back in October, that I do end of the year tax planning. And we currently run about 9 different businesses. And so, yeah, that's 9 different company tax returns besides our personal one that we do each year. And part of that tax planning is to see, where are we going to be come the end of the year? Are there things we can do right now tax planning wise that will improve that situation that we're going to be in come the end of the year? And we can do that because we have small businesses. If all I have is a W-2 and a few deductions, I've made some donations, etc., plug it into TurboTax, there ain't much that can happen. You're going to pay whatever it is that you got to pay. You don't have the capability to be the captain of your ship to structure how much tax you're actually going to end up paying. When you earn more income, you're going to pay more tax. As a small business person, you can earn more income, but you can use the tax benefits to help defray some of the taxation on that income. That's the beauty of what America has allowed us to do as small business people. And that's when I say people don't know what they don't know. If you've not ever jumped in and put your toe in the water of entrepreneurialism, you're not understanding this. And it's a passion I wish I could just put right through the screen and give you and help you really understand what it can truly do for you and how in this whole process of living the RVing lifestyle and traveling and work camping, how it can just blow it through the roof. It literally can take you to levels that you've never, ever imagined. All right, let me tell you the Miss Ellie story real quick. Miss Ellie, already mentioned, was a diesel pusher motorhome. We purchased her in 2013. This was after Our business partners, the Coopers, Terry and Evada Cooper. Terry's known as the Texas RV professor. We've now worked with them for about 12 years, I believe it is. And we decided in 2013, after listening to so many hundreds of our members, of our Workamper members, we don't know how to take care of this equipment. The dealerships are backed up. We're struggling out here. We need help. So we decided to go on the road and start teaching RV maintenance to consumers. And so that's exactly what we did. In the fall of 2013, Kathy Jo and I, we sold the house, and we had the blessing that it sold quickly. The people that bought it wanted to buy all the furniture that was in it. They even adopted the old cat that we had that lived in the house. We had all of those blessings that took place, and we hit the road in September of 2013. And over a period of a number of years through about 2017, we were in 40 different states, put 65,000 miles on Miss Ellie, and had the opportunity to travel to all these different locations as a work camper, because that's what we were doing. We were work camperpreneurs. We would go to the different locations and we would teach 1-week RV maintenance courses. We did this in all coasts. We were all over the country. We really, really, truly enjoyed that experience. And I tell you the Miss Ellie story because Miss Ellie was a piece of business equipment when I bought her. And I say that because we owned the home still at that point. And I won't get into all the technicalities of this, but at the point that we bought Miss Ellie, we owned a home. So she was a piece of business equipment, which was going to be deductible. All the fuel I put in her was going to be deductible, etc. But then we sold the home quickly. And once the home sold, Miss Ellie became our home base. And then that changed the tax structure. So the short story is, by the end of the year, the accountant had told us, based upon the deductibility of her as business equipment, you need to actually buy yourself another little home base. We actually bought a home here in Heber Springs, not very far from the office. It became our home base. That changed the tax structure again. You see, folks, it's these things that you don't know that can improve your life as a small business person, and you can take them and work with them to whatever degree you want to. You can take your business to heights that you can't even imagine, or maybe your goal is just to make an extra $1,000 a month and have some tax benefits, or an extra $5,000 a month and expand your tax benefits. That is completely up to you. And the reason I tell you the Miss Ellie story is this is what we've lived. This is what we've done. And folks, the American dream is as live today as it ever was. And small business entrepreneurialism is the backbone of this country. I don't care what anybody wants to say out there. It is the small businesses that keep this country running. Yeah, I know we hear about all the big dogs out there, but it's the thousands and thousands of small businesses that truly make our economic machine run. All right, so you want to travel where you want, and you want to be able to stay as long as you want, right? Okay, that takes the ability then to be more of the captain of your ship, right? You know, people go to Yellowstone National Park and they stay there maybe for an average visit's about 6 days, and you cannot see a lot of Yellowstone in 6 days. What if you could go to Yellowstone as a work camper? And there are opportunities, yes, in Yellowstone. And I'm just using Yellowstone because a lot of people when they first RV, that's the first place they want to go. I want to go see Yellowstone National Park. Cool, awesome, fantastic. So what if you could go there and stay the entire summer? Well, first of all, you can do that as a work camper working for an employer, because we have many that advertise for Yellowstone. And you can take a work camping gig and work in Yellowstone National Park. You're still going to have a work schedule, but you're also going to have time off that you can travel and experience the park. But if you start going to that next level, what if you start developing then that business, and that business grows to the point where you truly have a level 3, so what I'm calling it here in this presentation, and you have become a work camping entrepreneur. You're running your own small business, and you could be doing that from Yellowstone National Park. You are then working when you want and you are working where you want, and you're working as much as you want. So it ties right into the work camping concept, you see, because you can do this travel to where you want, when you want, and stay as long as you want. When you have the flexibility of being the captain of your own ship, generating your own income, running your own business, etc. You call the shots. You've got the ability to earn the amount of income that you want, wherever you park that rig. Folks, this is what I classify as the ultimate freedom when it comes to work camping. Now, I'm not saying this is any better than the others. Level one might be perfect for you because, guys, not everybody's cut out to have their own business. Even though I believe they should, they're not. But I do believe you owe it to yourself to ask yourself the questions, why should I have a business? And if I understand why, then how do I go about it? And what is it that I need to do to make it happen? That's all I'm asking you to do during this presentation. Truly, truly is. But it allows you to call the shots, and it's going to allow you to increase your potential. Most small business people earn more than the average W-2 wage earner. And then when you add the tax benefits, a lot of them, not saying everyone, but a lot of them will pay less income tax. And you say, well, that might sound anti-American. Folks, the tax law is there for a purpose, for us to build business, which is the foundation that keeps our country going. You may develop that business that actually at one day you end up with employees. You actually might have some people working for you. You say, well, I don't want to go that far. Then don't. Keep it at a level that you're comfortable with. I now have companies that have multiple employees. And I got to tell you, we're living the dream. You know, I'm 67 years old, and I've had a lot of people say, well, Steve, why don't you retire? Why would I retire from something that I love doing? I love helping people just like you see the possibilities of how they can have the freedom to travel this country and go where they want, when they want, and stay as long as they want. Guys, for me, that's awesome. And that's why we do what we do here at Workamper News. That's why we've expanded our training programs at the academy we have down in Texas. And part of that is to help you understand how to go about building a small business. Let me introduce you to Eric and Tammy. I want to give you an example. Eric and Tammy Johnson, they own a company called Techno RV now. When we first met them back in 2014, they came to our consumer RV course that we were teaching. We were in Camp Gulf, Florida, and they came and went through that course that week. They had just purchased Techno RV, and they had the RV. They actually had a fifth wheel at that point. And if you don't understand RVs, I'm not going to get into explaining it all, but it's a different type of RV. What you see in the background is a Class A motorhome. It's a diesel pusher. They had a fifth wheel at that point, and they were trying to figure the ins and outs and nuances of how to take care of it, how to fix things when they broke, etc., because they were just getting into the lifestyle. They operate now and have, after all of these years, they operate their business right from that RV. And Eric had this dream to travel to all 50 states before he turned 50 years of age. He made his dream come true. And he did that by work camping. They're operating a small business that makes them additional money. In this case, makes their income for them. It allows them to travel where they want, when they want, and stay as long as they want. They determined where they wanted to go. In fact, a couple summers ago, they spent the entire summer in Alaska, traveling Alaska, and being able to experience Alaska over 3 months, not just a month, which is a common stay for a lot of RVers. They'll go up and they have maybe a month, thinking that's a lot of time. It's a huge state and there's a lot to see. So having the ability to stay longer makes it absolutely awesome. So they're a perfect example of work camperpreneurs. They're making it happen. They've taken this concept of small business and taken it to a level, in their case, to a much higher level. They now have employees, they have lots of things, their business has just really blossomed. That might be where you want to go, or you want to keep it more at a lower level. You're going to be happy with a few extra $1,000 a week or a month or a week even, and you're going to be happy with having tax benefits, etc. You know, everybody's boat's a little different. I understand that. I just want you to understand you have options to create a level of freedom It's been my frustration through the years to try and get across to folks just like you to understand that there are things you can do to develop a small business. So over the past few months, over this past year, we have been building the Small Business RVer School. And just as it says, it's for entrepreneurs on the move. That's a Workamper, folks. They're an entrepreneur on the move. And this is our website. I'll share it. You don't have to remember it exactly right now. I'll come back to this in just a few minutes, but it's called smallbizrver.com. Because one of the things that Zig taught me early on that I learned from Zig Ziglar, and that's who this is, and this was one of his favorite phrases, and it is so true to this day as it was when he taught it to me back in 1987. You can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. Now listen to those words and think about those words for a minute. You can have everything you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. I want you to think about this. Business is about relationships. And a relationship takes place when communication starts happening between two people. As a business person, when you start communicating, that individual might tell you they have a problem with this or that or whatever. It's possible your business just happens to solve that problem. Folks, that's all business is. It's about developing relationships and solving people's problems. In this case, I'm going, as a small business person, I'm going to get what I want because I have the capability to develop a relationship and solve the problem for that customer so they can get what they want. You see how this works? People try to make this so complicated. It's not. It's that simple. It's about relationships, and it's about building relationships and solving problems. That's all business is. And we work at helping you understand the simple mechanics of it, because starting a business is simple. You're going, oh, sure, Steve. Yeah, I hear you. It's easy for you. I said it's simple. When you learn the mechanics of how to do it, it's simple. But here's the thing. You don't know what you don't know. That's where many of you are right now. And because of that, it's scary as all get out, and you think you can't do it, and so on. But what we do is we help you understand that it's simple, but it's not easy. And you're going, oh, you're just mixing up words. Not really. Simple, it's that because you can be shown the steps that you need to take, but you need to learn those. They're not something that you were taught. Entrepreneurialism is not taught really in high school. It's not even taught in college, unless you go to a very specialized school. And what you will learn from us is that building a business can be simple, but it's not easy. It's going to require you to take action. It isn't just going to happen. I'm a testament. I can tell you it takes work. It takes dedication. It takes focus. It takes your attention to why you're building the business, going through how you're doing it, and providing whatever it is that you're providing. Okay? I'm not saying it's easy, but I am saying it's simple if you've got some help. And what we don't want you to do is to be the Lone Ranger. Many of you remember this show from the past. This was on decades ago. When I was a little boy, I used to watch the Lone Ranger in black and white. Some of you are going, television used to be black and white? Yes, and even the picture I have here is from the original show. Well, the Lone Ranger was not really alone. He had a sidekick by the name of Tonto. And we don't want you to be the Lone Ranger. So Mark J. Kohler, who is my friend as well as my CPA and tax attorney, we have joined forces to develop this small business Kickstarter bootcamp program. And we are literally going to hold your hand through this self-paced process to go through the simple aspects of developing the business so it can become easier for you to have success. Okay? You don't have to be the Lone Ranger. I want you to let us be your Tonto. All right? And here's Tonto. Yeah, along with the Lone Ranger. So let Anderson and Kohler be your Tonto. Let us help you learn the steps that you can take to become a successful entrepreneur, a successful work camperpreneur, and successful to the point where you can go to whatever level of freedom that you want to go to. We kicked off the Small Business RVer School, the Kickstarter Boot Camp, roughly about a month and a half ago. I've done a couple of presentations to our program that we have down in Athens, Texas. And let me tell you about that real quick. In 2017, the Coopers and the Andersons purchased the Texan RV Park in Athens, Texas. We purchased the park with the idea of having a campus, a training campus. We'd been traveling the country, as I told you earlier. We had been teaching people RV maintenance around the country, how to take care of their RVs. And Cooper has this phrase he likes to use: I'm going to teach you how to take care of 80% of the things that can go wrong and probably will go wrong with your RV, and to be able to repair those. It provides a level of freedom like you wouldn't believe. Well, we purchased that campground with the premise of developing a campus. That was 2017. And now in 2020, we have built the Big Red Schoolhouse, which is a 15,000 square foot training facility. We house in that facility the National RV Training Academy, which now has become the premium training facility in America for RV maintenance. And the reason I bring that up is we are training small business entrepreneurs to become RV inspectors, mobile RV technicians, RV concierge. The list goes on and on. But we also have folks coming through our training that are doing other things. They're running businesses that don't have anything to do with RVs, okay? So that's how this all came about. And we launched this about a month and a half ago. And we have a number of students that are already on board that are moving through, and they have got involved with this online business training course that's being taught by myself and Mark J. Kohler. The Small Business Kickstarter Boot Camp is available for online and registration, and just give you a little idea what's involved in it. This is the 8 steps to start and grow your business that Mark put together about 2 years ago now. What's unique about this, we're using it as curriculum material because he built right into this training book. When you open it up and go to the various topics, right in there you're going to find QR codes, and that's those funny little square boxes with those squiggly little lines in them. You can hover your smartphone over it, it'll read the QR code, and the video will start playing right on your phone. The video that relates to the topic that is being discussed on that page. And you say, well, why would you want that? People learn in different ways. You learn in different ways. Some of you love to read, and you can focus in on a page, you can absorb it, and you learn. Others of you like to listen, and that listening is your key way in which you learn and you absorb information. Some of you are very visual, so the video really strikes home with you. We're providing all of the different ways in which you can learn, so that hopefully we're hitting everybody's learning need that they have out there by providing these different resources. So this is one of the key things. Along with the 8 steps is Mark has a very large library now, what he calls his tax and legal library. As a student, for 1 year, you're going to have access to Mark Kohler's online tax and legal library. Along with that, we do monthly Q&As. When I say we, he and I will do a monthly Q&A. We have our first one coming up this coming Tuesday, as a matter of fact. And you will have access to 12 of these. And what's cool about this is you can fire ahead of time, send in questions to us, or if you're online live, ask questions live with us, and we will field those questions. Mark will field those legal questions. He'll field the accounting questions, etc. They're all open for discussion. And what's cool about this, guys, is that Mark gets $500 an hour consultation fee. So he's doing one of these a month with us and opening up the gate to our students to be able to ask questions. Value there alone is pretty phenomenal. I mentioned I became a Ziglar Legacy trainer. These are 2 of the programs that we're going to be utilizing from the Legacy training programs. One of them is called Building the Best You, because we can teach you the mechanics and the steps you take to build a business, but we've got to build you up. We have to psychologically help you understand more about yourself and why you are developing this business and what are the goals that you hope to achieve by having that business. And that's where the second program comes in. Learning how to structurally set goals, how to break them and chunk them down into action steps, and utilizing this phenomenal tool that I use every single day. It's called the Ziglar Performance Planner. It's included with the course, but what it allows you to do is to take those action steps and put them into writing, into a calendar, into a game plan, so that as each day goes by, each week goes by, as the year goes by, you start to see you're gaining ground on those goals, you're reaching those goals, and then you're extending those goals to the next higher level goals, okay? Along with these various things we're talking about, we're going to take you into an avenue that some of you have probably stuck your toe in the water in and dabbled with it a little bit, but maybe haven't done much with it. It's personality assessment. And the reason we do this, and we've teamed up with Personality Insights Institute, I got trained as a trainer, as a presenter for them. We're going to take you through a personality assessment so that you understand more about yourself. You understand more about who you are, why you do some of the things you do, why you use the words you use, etc., how you communicate and are perceived by others. You say, why do I need that? First of all, it helps you understand more about you and maybe have a better understanding about how you're coming off to others. But the other thing is you learn about others' personality traits and styles, and your communication skills starts to get better and better and better. Remember what I said earlier? Business is about relationships. Relationships are built when communication takes place. Starting to see the tie? The stronger you can become as a communicator, the better business person you're going to become. So that's where DISC comes in. We're going to take you through your assessments. You're going to learn your personality style first. And we all have primaries and some secondaries. And then you're going to, through DISC and the DISC Advantage program, you're going to start to learn about some of the traits of the other styles that are not your style, but you're going to be encountering people that have those personality traits. And this is going to allow you to grow as a small business person. So that's our boot camp. It's a online Kickstarter boot camp. It's available now. You can go there and register right now. You simply go to smallbizrver.com, and when you do, we're going to give you more information about the program. We're going to help you understand more about what it is. Once you register and pay the tuition, you're going to receive your course materials. There's going to be all those hard materials that I was showing you on the screen, the book from Kohler and the planner and the Ziglar courses and all those types of things. You're going to get hard copy materials, but there's also an online portal that we're going to give you access to, and that's where you go step by step through the chapters, taking the steps. And again, they're fairly simple steps, but you've got to take them. It's not something that will just happen if you don't put in the effort. I had people say, well, how long is this going to take me? It's going to be determined by you because it's self-paced. It should take you around 90 days. It should. Some of you are going to be more energetic and accelerated and want to push harder, and that's cool too. It's at your pace. You have 1 full year to get through the course. You'll have 1 full year access on the Q&A days that we do with Mark and I, etc. And you'll have 1 full year of access to his online tax and legal library. So once you register, you'll get the materials sent to you. They'll come from our Heber Springs office right here in Heber Springs. And I want to close by simply saying this. The levels of Workamping Freedom that you desire to obtain is completely up to you. Level 1 might be exactly what you want and where you want to be. And if it is, that's awesome. Folks, we need thousands of work campers out there in that level 1, working for the thousands of employers that need the assistance. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't want anybody in that level. I need to see thousands of people out there doing that. But I know there's a percentage of you out there that want to go to that next step. You want to go to that level 2, where you start that business and you're still doing the work camping gig, but you're starting to develop that business. And then some of you are going to take it to that level 3, where you can travel where you want, when you want, stay as long as you want, and it's determined by you. So give it some thought, talk it over with partner, loved one, whatever, check out smallbizrver.com. Go to our website, get registered, and get started. And I look forward to seeing you out there on the road as a Workamperpreneur, living the life of freedom at the level that you want it to be. Thanks for joining me today. I really enjoyed being with you, and I hope to see you down the road. Bye-bye.